Gavin didn't know what was going on, and he was getting really annoyed. With so many of his classmates watching, he had to grit his teeth and try another contact. Gavin made another call, this time to the head of the local police precinct. This guy also had a good relationship with his dad. As soon as the phone connected, Gavin immediately said, "Director Monroe, it's me, Gavin. I've got a situation here in the development zone." With that, Gavin explained what was happening again. The person on the other end said awkwardly, "Gavin, those guys are with Blake, and Blake works for Orville Hudson. You'd be better off staying out of this." Gavin asked, "So you're not going to do anything?" The other man said, "You should know Orville Hudson's reputation." Gavin was getting a little frantic. "Then can't you at least pull some strings and talk to them for me?" The other man chuckled. "I really can't help you there. Sorry." Gavin got angry and said, "Director Monroe, I seem to remember you wanting the M Grand Group to donate a bunch of new police cars to your precinct. Don't you want them anymore?" The man on the other end didn't even bother arguing. He just said coldly, "Gavin, your dad has been fired from the M Grand Group. Didn't you know?" "Fired? When did that happen?" Gavin blurted out. "Half an hour ago," the man said. Then he added, "You should probably figure out what's going on before you start throwing your weight around." After that, he hung up the phone. Scarface saw he was stunned and said with a sneer, "What's the matter? Can't find anyone to help you?" Gavin was about to say something, but before he could, Scarface slapped him hard across the face. Gavin staggered backward, crashing into a table and chairs. The whole room gasped. Everyone's face went pale, but no one dared to step in and stop Scarface. "You dare hit me?" Gavin clutched his face, pure anger showing on his pale features. "What's wrong with hitting you?" Scarface smiled, then kicked Gavin in the stomach, sending him to the ground. He followed it up with a vicious beatdown. Gavin screamed as they beat him, but at this moment, no one could help him. After a little while, Gavin's face was beaten into a swollen mess covered in blood. It looked terrible. Terrified of the beating, Gavin started crying and begging. "Big brother, I was wrong. Please stop hitting me." "Wrong?" Scarface snorted coldly. "You think that's all it takes? You tried to act tough with me. If I don't put you in your place, how am I supposed to keep my reputation?" He then motioned to his guys. "Get him! Hit him hard!" The whole crew rushed forward, punching and kicking Gavin. One of them even started smashing him with a baseball bat. The scene was brutal. Seeing that Gavin was beaten half to death, Scarface walked over to Darren and threatened coldly. "Your friend tried to act tough with me. The original 20% is now 40%. If you don't agree, his fate is what awaits you too." Darren was terrified, but if he gave up 40% of his shares, he would just be working for this gang. He gathered his courage and said, "If you want 40%, then you might as well just..." Scarface frowned and said coldly, "Okay, then I'll be happy to grant your wish." After saying that, he pulled a gleaming, sharp knife from his pocket. Everyone was frightened, and the female classmates started to scream. Charlie saw that Scarface was about to go after Darren, and he immediately blurted out, "Put the knife down!" Scarface turned his head and cursed, "Who the hell thinks they can tell me what to do?" When he turned his head and saw Charlie, his eyes were confused at first, then filled with pure panic. He dropped to his knees with a thud. Before anyone could react, Scarface had already dropped the sharp knife. He started bowing repeatedly, pleading, "Mr. Charlie, sorry, I didn't know you were here. I didn't see you." Charlie was surprised for a moment. He looked at Scarface and said, "Do you know me?" Scarface nodded frantically. "Mr. Charlie, I work for Boss Blake." "I've seen you at the mansion." It suddenly clicked for Charlie. So that was it. This guy worked for Blake, who was one of Orville's men. Blake was the one who had dealt with Gerald and Harold at the Classic Mansion that day. No wonder this guy was so terrified of him. Even Orville himself was scared of Charlie, let alone one of his guy's subordinates. The classmates were shocked. Arya was also in a daze, as if she were dreaming. No one understood why a fierce gangster like Scarface, a guy who had just slapped Gavin, would kneel down for Charlie. And why did he look so afraid of Charlie? Claire was also stunned and asked Charlie, "What's going on? Do you know him?" Charlie was afraid she would misunderstand and think he was involved with gangsters, so he quickly said, "I don't know him." When Scarface heard that, he quickly added, "I don't know Mr. Charlie, and Mr. Charlie doesn't know me. I've just heard his name and have a lot of respect for him." That worthless son-in-law? This guy was respecting Charlie? No one could accept this reality. It was completely surreal. Scarface quickly said to Darren, "You're Mr. Charlie's friend. From now on, your restaurant is under my protection, and I won't charge you any protection fee. If anything happens, I'll help you take care of it." When they heard this, everyone was stunned. Arya was so overjoyed she could have cried. The complete turnaround was just too much. Because of Charlie, they saved 40% of the shares. More importantly, Scarface was willing to protect the restaurant for free just to get on Charlie's good side. Now they could run their business without any worries. Charlie had saved the day. Darren was also grateful and said sincerely, "Charlie, I really can't thank you enough for this." Charlie smiled and said, "Don't mention it. You're giving me too much credit." Scarface looked at Gavin, who was unconscious on the floor, and said with fear and worry, "I'm sorry, Mr. Charlie. I beat up your friend." Charlie said casually, "It doesn't matter. He's not my friend, just an acquaintance. We're not close." Then he added, "You should take him to the hospital. Don't ruin the grand opening here." Scarface nodded immediately. "We'll take him to the hospital right away. Mr. Charlie, you carry on. We won't bother you anymore." After he said that, he quickly motioned to his guys. They picked up the unconscious Gavin and rushed off. Everyone's gaze on Charlie shifted from contempt to surprise, and from surprise to awe. No one knew why Charlie had so much influence. This live-in son-in-law seemed to have suddenly become a completely different person. At the party, many people came to get on Charlie's good side, including Arya Hughes, who had been the first to look down on him. Arya now looked at Charlie like he was a god. She kept thanking him and even offered him free meals for life at the restaurant. Charlie didn't pay it much mind. He had just done a favor for Darren, helping him out of a little trouble. But in the eyes of everyone else, what he had done that day seemed almost magical. Everyone wanted to know what had happened to this kept man of a son-in-law. Claire was also very curious about what happened today. First, there was Charlie's 520. How on earth was it twice as fast as Gavin's 540? Then there was the ancient painting that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Also, why did Charlie know people from the criminal underworld? And why did they give him so much respect? On the way back, Charlie explained everything. He told Claire that the 520 was a test drive car from a car dealership. To make potential buyers think the car was really powerful, they had modified it a little. Claire didn't know much about cars, so she naively believed him. As for the ancient painting, he had already explained that. However, the whole thing with Scarface was a bit trickier to explain. After all, the guy had called him Mr. Charlie with so much respect, and Charlie couldn't just brush that off. In the end, he could only say that Scarface was a relative of one of his friends. He explained that he'd seen him at a friend's party before, and the guy was just being respectful because of their mutual friend. Claire felt like something was off, but seeing how sure Charlie was, she knew it was useless to keep asking, so she dropped it. Elsa had been watching Charlie the whole time. She felt there was more to him than met the eye, so she decided to keep observing him to figure out what secrets he was hiding. Gavin, on the other hand, was in a miserable state. He was in a coma when they brought him to the hospital. His father had been fired from the Grand Group after being found guilty of using his position for personal gain. The Grand Group's legal department had sued him, and he was immediately arrested by the authorities. You could say Gavin's family was completely ruined. However, his family wasn't well known in Auris Hill, so nobody really cared about what happened to them. The people who really had everyone's attention were the God-tier tycoon and the mysterious VIP who had booked the entire Sky Garden. Everyone was dying to know who he was. Were the tycoon and the mysterious person one and the same? Soon, their wedding anniversary arrived. Because Charlie had told Claire a long time ago that he wanted to give her a surprise, he insisted that she put on a noble and elegant white evening dress before they left. Claire reluctantly agreed, mumbling to herself, "We're just going out to eat. Why do I have to get so dressed up? I know it's our anniversary, but does it really have to be this big of a deal?" Charlie smiled and said, "Today is our 3rd anniversary. It should be special. I've already booked a place, and I promise you'll love what I have planned for tonight." He had done a great job keeping everything a secret lately, and his wife hadn't suspected a thing. Claire smiled softly, feeling touched. For their first 2 anniversaries, they had just spent a quiet evening at home. Even though Charlie had no money back then, he always managed to find a small gift to make her happy. But this year, Charlie was being unusually mysterious, which made her wonder what her husband had up his sleeve. After a little while, they both got dressed, went outside, and hailed a cab, heading all the way to the Aurelius Grand. Charlie got out of the car and looked at Claire standing beside him, his eyes filled with a softness he couldn't put into words. "Claire, tonight, we're here to celebrate our 3rd wedding anniversary. What do you think?"
To know more, listen to the audio series Heir in Hiding, only on the Pocket FM app.